Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports studio on this Thursday night. Now, most nights when I come on here a little after 7 o'clock and some of you get on my case about being late, I'm not willing to concede that I'm late because I've never been late to the show. The show doesn't start until I show up. But we're here. It's a little after 7 o'clock, and I want to, for once, explain to you what I was doing en route to this, because you're going to hear from Will Levis. You're going to hear from Brian Callahan. Rookie minicamp officially begins tomorrow. The quarterback and the coach were available to us today, and we spoke to them. Chris Young says, show starts when Buck gets here. Now, you may be wondering why I'm dressed like Colonel Sanders. You may be asking why we are a few moments later than we typically like to go on. And I want to say something before we start the show. But we'll wait until we get ready to actually start the show, because you guys know the routine. I need you to share the broadcast around before I can tell you what I've been doing and why I look like Colonel Sanders. So let's get through all of the different things that the coach and the quarterback said today, and we'll look at the different ways in which I think that Will Levis has been particularly primed for a breakout season. Now, will he capitalize? Will he do it? Will he take the steps necessary? Because he's anything but a finished product. Will Levis is he's the second biggest question mark in the division, not named Anthony Richardson. And that's only because Richardson has played, I think, appeared in only a total of 5 games at this point. But Levis has all the tools necessary, the coaching staff necessary, the skill position players, and I think a good enough offensive line to really take this thing to the top, provided that he's actually worth a damn. So I'm going to explain to you all of these things and why I think that Will Levis is primed for a breakout year here in just a second, right after I ask you guys to share the broadcast around, because you know, as much as I love you all who are already in here, we always welcome new participants to the program. I'm going to take the Colonel Sanders jacket off, though, because I'm sweating. So while I'm taking the jacket off, not jacket off, but jacket off, I need you guys to share the program on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. Mike is already arguing with people. That's funny, with the name and a picture of Jared Stillman. That's excellent. I'm just going to call you Mike tonight, bud. But he says Anthony Richardson is the best quarterback in the AFC South. He may be. I have no idea. The guy needs to play football for him to be the best quarterback in the AFC South. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Share this show around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you are spending your time with us. We would be glad to have your participation. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That is in the bottom left. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, subscribe. This is like an OnlyFans. I'm stripping as we're telling you to share this show. Hopefully I don't get groped like that OnlyFans woman did by that Metro Nashville Police Department officer. Yeah, Bert's making a face in the background like he hasn't seen that yet. Yeah, that's a thing. Jackson just sent it to the group. Perhaps that'll be our bounce back tonight, Robert. See if you can't get me some video assets from that. That would be excellent. But share this show around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. God, I forget, or I remember why I don't wear ties now. Wherever you're hanging out with us, live stream the show. See, doesn't that look better? It looks a little more loose. It looks a little more natural. Amar says, I'm getting married tonight. No nuptials in my future at this particular point in time. Lucas says, take off your pants and jacket. Well, you'll have to pay more to get me to take off my pants for you on a live camera. If you want to go ahead and donate some money in there, perhaps I'll strip for you. But I'm not that big of a sellout just yet. But before we start the show, I want to tell you why I'm all, like I said, why I was dressed like Colonel Sanders. Something just got knocked over downstairs in my house, which made a big crash, but we'll deal with that later because we're doing the primetime show. So why I'm a little late this evening, and the only reason that I'm willing to admit that I'm late is because just about 20 minutes ago, I was downtown Nashville at the award ceremony for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Visionaries of the Year campaign. It's a 10-week campaign. I've been participating. I've been, along with 7 or 8 other individuals, trying to raise money over the course of the last 10 weeks. You guys know that I've hammered you about this. You know that we put on the live show with Rand Carthon and Greg Cosell to benefit Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, LLS. And tonight was the finale. Tonight was the award ceremony for people who raised the most money, for people who have overcome adversity, for our honored guests who were survivors and people who are going through leukemia and lymphoma right now, and all types of different blood cancers. And we're raising money for research, for development, for financial support, because so many people just are in such difficult positions that those of us who are blessed with our good health can't even imagine. And I'm not here to ask you for money tonight because the campaign's over. But what I am here to do, before we talk about Will Levis and before we talk about Brian Callahan, before you hear from either of them, is I'm here to say thank you. You guys helped us collectively as a group for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society raise over $100,000 over the course of the last 10 weeks. And I cannot express my gratitude to you guys enough. You know that I can get off track a little bit, and I'm not going to get dusty. Not going to get dusty, although I am very grateful and I do get emotional. You guys know that. But in particular, the primetime audience for you guys, because without the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they gave me my little plaque. Bert asked me if I won anything. I said I got a participation trophy, but that's fine, because if I'm participating to help raise over $100,000, then at least it feels meaningful in some form or fashion. But I cannot thank you guys enough, because LLS saves lives, like Producer Reed. Producer Reed, who was the first producer of the primetime show, who was my, ride or die for the better part of 3 years while we were trying to get this shit show off the ground. I cannot thank you guys enough for helping us raise that kind of money for LLS to help save people's lives like Reed. I'm emotional about it. I saw him up there. He's the host of the award ceremony tonight. Producer Reed in front of a microphone, crushing it. He was way underutilized behind the camera, behind the mic, or behind the scenes, stuck listening to my gas baggery, go on and on and on about your favorite teams. But like I said, I cannot say thank you guys enough as we start this show. I know I'm rambling here and you want to hear about your football team, but that's why I'm dressed up a little more for the primetime show than I normally would be. But I know how much Reed means to me. I know how much Reed means to you guys who have been with us since day one. The primetime show is coming up on its 5th year anniversary, as a matter of fact, which is still crazy to me to think about. It'll be 6 years in week one of the NFL season. Will be 6 years of the primetime show. And I cannot express my gratitude to you guys, to the radio show audience who helped us raise money, to those of you who came out for the live show with Rand Carthon and Greg Cosell to help us raise money. Thank you. I can't say it enough. All right, let's start the show. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the great people at Two Rivers Ford, who also, thank you to Two Rivers Ford, who donated $1,000 of that $100,000 that we were able to collectively raise to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Not only are they incredibly generous and a big part of the community, they are the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at tworiversford.com. Zen Sports, where you go and bet on all your favorite major sports. Betting just got better in the Zen Sports app. $100, up to $100 is what they will allow you to wager on your no danger first wager without risk. Zensports.com, promo code ATOZTN is how you get in on all the action. And True Math Fitness in the Gulch. I'll be at True Math Fitness tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Little Arm Farm Friday at True Math Fitness. You can get your workout in, whether it be personal training, group fitness classes, or workout at your own pace with one of their memberships in their open gym facility, TrueMathFitness.com, for the best workout in Middle Tennessee. And for your first workout free, just tell them A to Z Sports sent you. All right. So Levis and Callahan and the assistant coaches spoke today. Brandon Scott says, I remember when Buck was the young kid Kaharski couldn't stand. Me and PK have always had a great relationship, which I really, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but I love Paul. Paul has been so good to me over the course of my career. If there was a time when Paul couldn't stand me, I'd believe it, because I showed up in the Titans locker room and had no idea what the hell I was doing 9 years ago. So I've always had a great appreciation for Kaharski, and I love shit talking Kaharski as much as anything. Just as I know he likes giving me a hard time on a regular basis too. So yes, quarterback, head coach. Well, not in that order. Head coach, assistant coaches, and then the quarterback all spoke today. And I think that there was a lot to learn. Brian Callahan is probably going to be the most informative coach from a football standpoint. You guys are going to learn more football from this person just over the course of these training camps and press conferences and media availabilities than I think you did at any point in the last 6 years. If you actually want to learn football, Brian Callahan is here to educate you. And it's cool to see that ripple effect happen across the coaching staff, because we have a lot to get to, but we're going to spread it out over the course of the next couple of primetime shows. We'll obviously talk a lot about it on the radio show tomorrow too. But the Callahan made Zach Woodfin, the director of sports performance, available today. So your head of strength and conditioning. I've never spoken to any member of the strength and conditioning staff on the record the way that they were made available to us today. Do you know why? Because you guys have constantly been asking about your strength and conditioning staff, and turns out your team heard you, because I've been bitching about it on here, on the radio show. You guys have been constantly complaining, and not constantly complaining, but rightfully so, wondering what the hell is going on with the Titans strength and conditioning staff. We spoke to Zach Woodfin, is the gentleman's name, who is running that at this point. And I learned so much from him in just that small interaction. I was shocked that they made the director of sports performance available. We talked to Bill Callahan, the media contingent. They set up a podium situation just for Bill Callahan, because all of us, I mean, there was probably 35 of us gathered around an offensive line coach today, peppering him because he's the most important assistant coach probably on any team, on any staff in professional football this year, because there's no worse pass protecting unit than the Tennessee Titans. And Bill Callahan is coming in here to help his son run an offense that's going to throw the ball all over the place. But the thing that I want to hone in on tonight is Levis first and Callahan, because the main takeaway that I had, the overarching theme today was, hot damn, Will Levis has all kinds of shit around him this year to make this thing viable, to make this thing go. I have higher expectations for the Tennessee Titans in really even the last month and a half, which includes the draft and the Boyd signing, than I have had at any point in the offseason. I was asked today, I did an interview with Blaine. Well, Blaine is not here. He's in Dubai on vacation. But Brad Hopkins, former Titans Pro Bowl left tackle, and Mickey Ryan did a hit with them today. And Mickey asked me the question of looking around at the Titans situation and kind of, weighing the pros and cons of everything that they've done and everything that they've brought in and all the different ways that they've addressed this thing. They were asking me about what my expectations were for the Tennessee Titans, and just kind of, vibe check every once in a while. Vibe check's okay. And I sat there for a second and said, they're checking all the right boxes. How it's going to look on the field in preseason, in the regular season, how it looks in the first month versus by the time we get to October around the trade deadline and things like that. There are so many different things here that are set up for Will Levis to succeed. But the thing about this is none of it is viable if Will Levis isn't the guy. You need to have a 100% guaranteed security in your level of confidence about Will Levis by season's end, or you need to trade him, or you need to trade him yesterday. You need to have a situation where you've built a team that a young quarterback should be able to succeed in. Levis looks like he belongs at the NFL level, but if he does not fit in with all the different things, all the different tools, all the different talent that you've surrounded him with, you need to move him as soon as you're able at the end of the year. This is a critical year for Will Levis, and I think he is primed for a breakout year. Whether or not he does it himself, that's incumbent upon him. And I'd like to start with your Two Rivers Ford take on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch in the comment section. If you want to interact, what did you learn from Will Levis's press conference today? What was the biggest thing that you took away from hearing your quarterback speak? if you did, in fact, hear the press conference. I'm going to play some audio and video for you, obviously, here in just a second. It's your Two Rivers Ford take. As I mentioned, as always, it's presented by Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service are what they offer. The South's most trusted Ford dealer. They've done it for over 40 years here in Middle Tennessee, serving millions of satisfied customers. You will not have a better experience in the process of buying your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle anywhere like you will get the kind of treatment from Two Rivers Ford. Just 7 miles east of Nashville International Airport. A reminder, they have a free event for Police Week, which is going on right now, where you can meet and greet with the emergency responders in the Middle Tennessee area and Mount Juliet. Specifically, they're going to have free food, free drinks, fun, and games for the kids. It's a free event at from 9 to noon on Saturday, May the 11th. So this coming Saturday at Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So you don't have anything going on, you want some free food, and some free Chick-fil-A. Always down for some free Chick-fil-A. Two Rivers Ford has you covered. You can, I think they're going to let you take a tour of the inside of a police car because, of course, Two Rivers Ford supplies the police force with their Explorers and all their other vehicles. So Two Rivers Ford, the best in the business. Levis, what was the most important thing that you took, or the biggest takeaway that you had from Will Levis's press conference today? Mike says, I know expectations in Indy is another sweep of the Titans this year, as it should be. I mean, Indianapolis finished with a better record than Tennessee last year. Well, every team in the division finished with a better record than Tennessee last year. And I think it's completely fine for Indianapolis to have expectations of sweeping Tennessee. Now, I also think it's fair for Tennessee to have expectations that Indianapolis is not going to be capable of sweeping them, because famously, the Titans had beaten the Colts 5 straight times before getting swept this past year. So these things are cyclical, and the Colts are not an insignificant roster. They are clearly a threat within the division. But the point of the AFC South this year is that all 4 teams are really built to threaten in the AFC, and I think that is going to be a pretty interesting dynamic. I think the Jags are probably looked at as kind of the team that should have taken advantage of the void that the Titans left after they fell off here in the last couple of years. They really didn't. They underwhelmed. And in fact, I think, the Jags aren't going to be, at the bottom of the gambling odds. But I feel worse about the Jags heading into 2024 than I do about any of the other 3. Obviously, it's the Texans' division to lose, though it was the Titans' division to lose in 2022. They lost it. It was the Jags' division to lose in 2023. They lost it. The Colts haven't won a division title since Andrew Luck was the quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the Colts have won the damn AFC South since like 2014. Was I still in college the last time the Colts won the division? That's probably right. Oof. God, Colts fan. It's always interesting to see how much people overrate Indianapolis, and they have been the most successful team in the division historically. But the overinflation of Colts hype year in, year out, it's as confusing to me as any other team, because they really haven't done much winning of consequence. 2016, thank you, Bryce, corrects me. So still not far off. I was just out of college in 2016. I graduated in 2015. So the last year that the Colts won the division was 2016. Luck's last year. Yeah, because that would have been Malarkey's first year. No, that was the year that Wisenhunt got fired. So 2016, a long, long time ago. Edward says, I overrate the Colts? No, I think I properly rate the Colts. I think the Colts are frisky. The Colts beat you twice last year. Prior to, at the end of the season, the Colts had a better roster. I think there's a debate to be had between the Colts and the Titans about who's got the better roster right now. I feel better about both of them than Jacksonville at this point. But Stephen King says, Bucks overinflation greater than Colts overinflation. I overinflate myself all the time, and physically, metaphorically, whatever the case may be. Indianapolis is just kind of an interesting. They're a bit of a science experiment in the AFC South this year. And I'm curious to see if any of these teams are capable of sweeping any of the other ones. I don't expect any of them to get swept in 2024 is the upcoming season. I had to think about that for a second. I don't expect any of these teams to get swept. I think all 4 of them are going to be legitimately competitive. They're going to cannibalize themselves And, I don't think it's too far beyond the pale to imagine a wild card team coming out of the AFC South this year with the way that the division has kind of broken down. Jody Newell says it correctly. The division will come down to health. We'll have all summer to talk about this. Right now, let's focus in on Levis. The most important thing that I learned from Will Levis's press conference today, or the most important thing that I heard at Will Levis's press conference today, is what I'm going to let you hear in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by the great folks at TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com. Your first workout is free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout is ever recycled or repeated. TrueMath Fitness is just there to help you maximize your fitness goals. You guys know, famously, I lost 48 pounds last year on the TrueMath Fitness plan. I could not be more grateful to their staff because I feel so much better. I sleep better. My energy's better. I feel like I've got more time. I feel like I give you guys better effort because of how much better I feel physically with the weight off. And now it's about, physically improving my fitness. And TrueMath has a plan specific to me, just as they'll have a plan specific for you. No workout, as I mentioned, ever recycled or repeated. They're going to continue to build upon your progress. That's the best part of TrueMath. You can feel yourself improving as the workouts continue. TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free. The best thing that I heard from Will Levis's press conference today, or the thing that caught my attention most, was this particular discussion where he is talking about making the team better rather than the team making him better.
No, I mean, they need to help me. I need to help them. And I think, especially with TV, I texted him. I was like, I can't wait to learn the offense from you. It's cool to be able to watch the tape and all these cut-ups and him balling out and making all these plays and, on the teach tape, running these routes exactly like how we're telling everyone else to. So that's going to be some great insight to hear from a guy who's been in the offense and knows what it's like when the bullets are flying. And then with Calvin already being able to throw with him, I can tell that, we're going to be able to develop a really special connection. And he's a special type of player that I really do have to lock in with and get some chemistry with. But, no, he's been great and looking forward to get TB here.
So he mentions TB. He's talking about Tyler Boyd, who's not yet in the building, but and who's not yet under contract. Pretty interesting because both Callahan and Levis were talking openly about Tyler Boyd. I just, I'm so used to Mike Vrabel press conferences. I wasn't even thinking to ask Brian Callahan about Tyler Boyd today because I'm so used to being told, well, we don't talk about players on our roster. So that's fine. And he's not officially on the roster yet, but they're working through the contract details. And apparently that's going to be here pretty soon. Stephen King says, God, I just mayoed. Ew. Let's not make that a thing. Please don't talk about your bodily functions as being mayoed or getting mayoed or you mayoing. I don't want to think about that. All right. Nobody else in the chat wants to think about that. Control yourself, Stephen. Get your mayo in check. I think that there is a lot. Will Mayberry says we finally have a real coach. I have a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel, straight up. And, I'm sure I will come to have just as much respect for Brian Callahan. I've really enjoyed a lot, basically every interaction that I've had with coaches. I've never had I've been I've been cussed a couple of times. I've gotten phone calls in the middle of the night after I've said something nasty or written something nasty about how piss poor the Titans looked or how awful the offensive line play was or this, that, and the other. But never, it's always kind of like, all right, that's how it is. You turn the page, you show up the next day. I'm accountable for what I say, just as players are accountable for their performance. Coaches are accountable for their decisions. So I'm accountable for everything that I say about the football team because, fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of people who work for the football team or are around the football team, even players, will reach out from time to time for things that I say on the Primetime Show, the radio show with Greg, on the podcast. By the way, the live podcast with Rand Carthon about to debut on YouTube in just about 20 minutes from now. So I'm going to get you guys out in time to watch that on 104.5 The Zone's YouTube channel. Point being, you've had real coaches before, but I do think that in this particular age of offensive football in the NFL, that Brian Callahan is going to get you closer to accomplishing your goals than Mike Vrabel might have. Now, I don't think that's all Mike's fault because Mike didn't have $85 million in cap space to work with. Mike did not have maybe he could have hired Bill Callahan, but he didn't have the connection to the best offensive line. The best offensive line coach in football is not Mike Vrabel's father. It is Brian Callahan's father. And by the way, I spoke to Bill today, and we're going to do a whole show on Bill Callahan probably on Sunday night because there's so much to dive into from what that man said. So you've had real coaches before, but I do think that this particular coaching staff is going to be able to put you in the best possible position to succeed. Now, the quarterback needs to take advantage first and foremost, and I have no idea whether Will Levis is going to be capable of doing that, but I know Brian Callahan has confidence in him, and he spoke about that earlier today.
He's been great. Really, really happy with the work that he's put in, what he's learned. There's a lot of information coming at him, a lot of technical things, a lot of mental things, a lot of physical things as far as fundamentals, techniques, how we teach, what we teach. He's attacked it with really awesome enthusiasm. Every day he comes in, he learns it, and always the mark to me of guys that take coaching well, they can take it from the meeting room to the grass. And so he's been able to translate those things as we've come out here. So really happy with the work he's done so far. I think he's really gotten better in a short amount of time because of the way he approaches his job, and that's all you can ask for at this point in the year.
So that's Brian Callahan speaking with us earlier today. A to Z Sports Primetime is presented by the great people at Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on your no danger first wager with that promo code on hockey, on basketball, arena football, or rather UFL football, spring football, not arena. I don't know if they have odds on arena football, but you can check every one of your major sports that you want to wager on is available in the Zen Sports app. Plug in that promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on that no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. No danger wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Boosted odds are derived from equivalent parlay bets offered in Tennessee. Must be 21 plus and in Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. So that's the best thing that I heard and talked with coaches about with Will Levis today, is that the moment is not too big for him, and he seems to have really good command of what it is that they're asking him to do. Now, winning press conferences is not winning football games. That's not going to actively help them on the field against the Colts, the Texans, or the Jags, but it is important. And if it's not if it ends up being not so, well, then we're going to have a discussion about how viable Levis is here is the future. And frankly, we'll probably have a conversation about Callahan to an extent, because Levis's success isn't just going to define, or lack thereof, Levis's success or failures are not just going to define Will Levis. They're going to define Brian Callahan here too. Something to keep in mind as we move forward. So I think that there's a lot to like about what I heard from the coaching staff and from the quarterback today. We'll speak to rookies tomorrow, and we'll see them on the practice field. We're going to see you guys are going to get sled videos, quarterbacks throwing, all kinds of good thirst trap internet Twitter content that I know that you enjoy. It'll feel really like football season tomorrow as we continue to move forward into the offseason program. All of you are making mayo jokes, concerned about what you're mayoing and where you're putting your mayo and all kinds of other stuff. Be safe out there, kids. Head on a swivel. And use protection if you're mayoing in the wrong direction or in the right direction. Who's to say? Either way, looking at the Titans, like I said, they're checking all the right boxes around Levis, but it's about Levis. This year is about Levis, first and foremost. It's not about Traylon Burks, not about Malik Willis, not really about, it's a little about Brian Callahan by an extension of Will Levis, but it's because he's an extension of Will Levis. So all the different things that you have going on, it doesn't mean anything if that quarterback doesn't make legitimate progress. I think it's reasonable to expect him to. I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I know you guys are fired up about it. And in particular, Levis, there's no lack of talent there to work with at this point. So we'll see how it goes. Wrap things up with a gone viral video here in the comment section, or except it's not gone viral. I got my days mixed up because it's Thursday, not Tuesday. And because I had the Leukemia and Lymphoma Awards ceremony, I apologize. I wasn't able to, we weren't able to get a new graphic together for you guys, but you get the vibes. So with that being said, who needs to bounce back most in sports? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Who is primed for a bounce back this weekend? It could be the Indiana Pacers, who keep losing games to the New York Knicks in ways that are inexplicable to me. Thank God Game 3 is going to Indiana as I look at my Reggie Miller Court Street sign here in the home office where we do this here in the Zen Sports Studios. Makes me very sad to see the Pacers down 0-2 to the Knicks, but it looks like a lot of fun to be a Knicks fan right now. Maybe the Pacers need a bounce back. The hockey playoffs going on right now. I haven't been paying very close attention, I'll be honest, since the Preds got eliminated. But perhaps you think a hockey team right now in the postseason needs to bounce back. There's all manner of different players, coaches, persons, teams in sports that could use a bounce back. But who are you picking on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch? You tell me your answer. Anytime somebody needs to be told that they need a bounce back, Charles Barkley's a pretty good resource to look at.
You know, if the Knicks win, that'll be good.
You care who wins, cut it out.
I don't care who wins, but I will tell you what, I would love to see them get their ass stomped by the Celtics. That'd be great.
Then you care who wins.
I mean, I'm just saying, whoever wins this series is going to get stomped by the Celtics.
Well, you said you'd be happy to see it.
Yeah, because the New Yorkers, y'all deserve it. Because y'all think y'all the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Tell them, Chuck.
Come on, y'all ain't that good in New York.
What else, Chuck?
Come on, man. Y'all overrated.
What else, Chuck?
It's because y'all make good pizza and good bagels.
And what else, Chuck?
And what else, crime?
And hold on, Chuck. Don't forget about the...
Oh, you know, they can't, I ain't gonna say anything bad about the street meat. You know, I love the street meat. I love the street meat.
The New York Knicks.
I don't care what kind of meat it is either. It tastes good.
To it. Even if you got no idea it is. What
rat, dog, cat, skunk, raccoon. It tastes good. Just put that white sauce on it. That's it. Right. That's it right there. That's some good stuff, y'all.
They're the best. They're simply the best. Anytime somebody needs a bounce back, Chuck's got you. Barkley's got you there to set you straight. You know who never needs a bounce back? Inside the NBA. Those dudes are the best thing going in sports media. Better than anything. And it's hard for me to admit that anybody's better at me than anything. You guys know me. But I don't think there's an entity, an individual, a broadcast television program, or anything digitally that's anything close to Inside the NBA. It's just great every time you turn it on. I'm there more for the Inside the NBA coverage than I am the basketball half the time, but you know I like the basketball too. It's going to do it for us tonight here on the Primetime program. Just in time, in the next 10 minutes, here's what I need you to do. First, I need you to pat yourself on the back because great job. You helped me raise me and my LLS teammates, my Leukemia and Lymphoma Society teammates. You helped us raise over $100,000. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. So first, I need you to pat yourselves on the back. Second, I need you to go to 104.5 The Zone on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I need you to hit that subscribe button. I need you to be ready in 10 minutes when the primetime show used to air, because tonight we are going to give you an hour and 45 minutes of Titans general manager Rand Carthon, NFL Films Greg Cosell, and my dumbass trying not to bog down the football conversation in between on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. It'll be live premiered. You can comment, you can watch, you can enjoy, and you can hear all kinds of great nuggets about your draft class, your free agency, your acquisitions, and how it is that you came into the trade for L'Jarius Sneed. So it's all great stuff. You're really, really going to enjoy it. Part 1's already available. We talked a lot about Will Levis in Part 1. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch that too. Either way, thank you guys as always for hanging out with us for another primetime week. Like this video on your way out the door, then head it over to 104.5 The Zone. Subscribe, like that video, because I won't be able to tell you to do it live. Either way, you guys know I love you. You guys know I'm grateful for you. And every once in a while, you make me feel better about what it is that I do on a regular basis. Just yelling into, sitting in my office here, yelling at a camera by myself in a room. Because the way that you guys show your support for what it is that we ask you guys to do, the causes that we call on you guys to help us raise money for, whatever it is, y'all always step up. Always, always, always. And I just want you to know that sometimes I may seem like I take it for granted, but I really don't. I really don't. I love y'all. You're the best. You guys are always the best. And I appreciate you for it. All right. Enjoy the install. Give me your feedback. Send me tweets. Send me DMs on Instagram, because thank God you can't DM me on Twitter anymore. My DMs are a much safer place on Twitter since not a lot of good things have happened since Elon took over Twitter. But getting rid of people being able to DM DM me is one of my favorite things in the world. Not like I said, I love you guys, but from a distance. Have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend. Radio show tomorrow. Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. I don't know who else we have on the show, but who else cares? Coach Mack, he's the best. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone, and enjoy the install live on The Zone's YouTube channel.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville. Go home!